We are live, the Beyond Big Influence show with Jesse Dobeck, and I'm super excited. I got a special guest with me here today, Eugene Johnson. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on? How you doing? Good to see you.
Doing awesome, man. So I'm excited today for this topic because I did a post and I put a $50 million business or something like that, like a $50 million business. This man right here has built a massive business. And I can't say that about a lot of people when they come on the show, that they have a business that big and they've had the success that Eugene's had. And he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing friend. I met him through the Brendan Network when I was working with Brendan Burchard, helping him build his massive influence. And now Eugene is building his massive influence of his own. He's had a massive amount of success. We're going to share his story with you. And honestly, I want to know how he's accomplished what he has, how he's got to the level that he's at for myself. And I know a lot of people out there. When I was posting on my fan page, I posted like super late last night, and I was like, trying to, get all the words right and, intro him the correct way. And then I released the post. I think it was like 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. my time. And I looked today and everybody's like, I'm interested. How do I build a business that big? I'm a artist trying to figure out how to get influence and how do I reach the masses? There was like all these people asking questions and interested. So I'm really excited here. Let me just share a little background about Eugene. I came to know Eugene through my circle, speaking on stages, speaking at Brendan Burchard's event, working with Brendan for over 9 years. And that's how he got to know me. Then Eugene came to my live event. I remember he came, I think with his wife.
Yep.
Buddy. And I just remember him in like the aisle when I was walking up, like to meet the people in the crowd. And, I like to interact with people in the crowd. And I just remember Eugene's excitement for social media. I was teaching a lot of like Facebook and social media strategies, and his excitement to build influence and like grow his brand and get his thing going. And this is before he had this massive successful business. He was probably just trying to figure it out, but he did have a family, and he just had a glow and an excitement about him. I just remember, there's a lot of people that I meet at events, and Eugene just has an energy about him that just makes me feel warm and comfortable and excited and just positive vibes. So welcome to the show, Eugene. I'm going to share just a little background about you. So I know you're a man of faith. You're a husband, you're a father, you're a startup founder, an investor, and the author of the Mental Playbook. So you have your own book. Eugene grew up in some rough neighborhoods in New York City. From the moment that he started his first business at the age of 18, he saw becoming a businessman as his way out of some of those rough, tough neighborhoods in New York City. So over the last 18 years, so this is an 18-year journey. We're going to catch you guys up a little bit. We're going to push forward to this $50 million business and how he got it started and how he grew it to that level. But he's built multiple businesses by mastering skills like leadership, marketing, sales, business development, and public speaking. So he's mastered a lot of the core fundamentals of influence to generate the success that he is now having. And Eugene's currently the founder and CEO of Revi, a technology solution for restaurants that uses an in-store digital mobile ordering system to streamline the ordering process, gather analytics, and reconnect the users post-purchase. So it's all about the user experience and creating a great process for his customers so he can have success. And he has over 1 million customers now on his platform. He's processing between 40 and 50 million through the Revi system. And that's just going up, because I think in the last 3 years, he's taken this company, maybe it's a little bit more, but over the last 3 years, he's taken this company from ground zero to 50 million. So sky's the limit. I mean, he's going to 100 million, he's going to $1 billion. I think he can go beyond that, because he's telling me, he has like 300 restaurants using his platform. Now, what if he has 1,000? What if he has 3,000? What if he has 10,000 restaurants on his platform, and they all need his solution? So he's just scaling his teams and getting things going. So I know he's on his way to $1 billion. So you're talking and looking at $1 billion man. Welcome to the show, Eugene. I'm excited to have you here, man. And so yeah, just welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. It's exciting. I'll pay you for that intro later. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. You know, my time and just connecting with you over the years has been amazing. Just watching, you continue to crush it and starting businesses and helping influencers and, inspiring, people like me to say, hey, like, how do I continue to have a voice on these new platforms and this new way of social media and the internet, and trying to figure out ways to amplify the message and the marketing and all of the pieces of the puzzle. So, salutes and hats off to you for, continuing to create the opportunities for people like me to say, all right, well, how can I take advantage of this new version of marketing, and how do I become an influence and a voice in the world? So I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Eugene. And, that means a lot to me. I know when we met, you saw me speaking and influencing you to get out on social media. But, to be honest with you, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm just I got a lot of challenges. I'm working through a lot of things, as a startup founder of a technology company. The road's not always an easy path. Now, yeah. When you became an entrepreneur, did you know that you were going to become at the level that you're at? Or when you started, it was probably, you went through some ups and downs, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think every entrepreneur goes through ups and downs. Like you said, 18 years. A lot of times you look at 18 years and it seems like you're overnight success. Things just happen. But like the reality is it was like a lot of struggle, a lot of pain. I usually joke around and say like the first half of my life was a little unlucky, and the back half of my life was a little bit more lucky. And I was, like you mentioned, I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in New York, got in a lot of trouble, and was really kind of like lost and trying to figure out like what my next step is. And one of my friends dragged me to Oklahoma City to a leadership conference in Oklahoma, which I did not want to go. And he dragged me there, and I get there and I see all of these people, crossing the stage who have had success. And I get a chance to meet a gentleman there who literally changed my life, became my mentor. The gentleman was a billionaire. I met some other people who became my mentor as well. But really, it was that mentorship that helped me start thinking in a different way. One of the things he would say is like, Eugene, if you change the way you think, you can change your life. And I was thinking in a very negative way. And so for me, I needed to figure out a way to figure out, how do I shift the way I think? And that shifted everything for me. And so I started that first company when I was 18, grew that company to hundreds of sales reps and marketers across the country. But it took years of trying to figure it out and banging my head against the wall to try to figure out, like, does this make sense? Should I do it this way? Oh, I was really successful. I'm excited. Oh, all of that success just dropped to the ground. This sucks. Make your way back and forth. So I think it's been a journey, but the journey is worth it. And, a lot of times if you just hold on, success is merely holding on when others have let go. And I think that's what ends up happening is most people let go so soon, and they never get a chance to visualize the things that they, put into reality the things that they thought they saw in their visions when they started to have the goals in the first place. So, that's really kind of been my experience.
Yeah. And when you started, you were in network marketing?
I was in, direct sales, and I learned a ton of direct sales. I'm actually a big fan of direct sales from the outside looking in. I haven't been in it in a decade, but like, I love the people there. I love the energy. I love the training. I think that any new person, if you don't know what you need to know about business, like it's a great entry point. So I'm a big fan of the industry.
Yeah, well, me like you, I started out in network marketing. I realized there are people building their network marketing business online, and this was about 12 years ago. And a lot of it was belly to belly. It was like old school. It was hotel meetings. It was like, the big national conventions. But now it's all shifting to Zoom. Now it's all shifting to technology. So you've evolved with the times, right? You've kind of like learned that you need to be online. You need to build influence there. You need to create content. Yeah. Because honestly, I see you creating a lot of content online. So how did you shift from network marketing to starting your own business rather than being a part of a company?
Yeah, so a lot of it was I started to expand my network into people who were making 50, 100, $1 billion. And, you start to, they always say, if you want to be successful, find somebody who's been successful at the thing that you want to do and copy that person so that you can have the life that they have. And so I started to see that a lot of the opportunity to jump into the place where you're doing hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, like that opportunity was strong in tech. And I had gotten into the tech industry, and it really kind of opened my eyes to seeing like, man, there's another opportunity out here. And I ended up doing some investing at first, and then just did some public speaking. That's where I wrote that book. But really what happened was I was like 26, 27. I had been an entrepreneur up until, like, I worked small odd jobs here and there, but I had been pretty much an entrepreneur my entire life. And a friend of mine, I was going to start a tech company, and a friend of mine was like, no, don't start a tech company, join mine. And I'm just like, I don't really want to do that. I'm not certain. And she had me come out and interview with the guys. And I was just like, you know what? It would be good for me because all my other businesses weren't tech. So it'd be good for me to at least kind of learn. So what I thought was I was going to come in, do it for a year, help them out, and then kind of bounce. Because they were only 50 employees at the time, and around 50, maybe 50, 60. And I basically took over like the West Coast division of sales enablement. It was a company called Meraki. Now, at the time, Meraki wasn't huge, but I stayed there, ended up being 4.5 years, not 1 year. And we grew from 50 people to 4,000 people. 4,000 employees across the country.
Wow.
And, we went from, I think at the time we were doing, a couple $1 million a year in revenue. By the time I left, we were doing $1 billion a quarter. So
wow.
huge growth. And the company sold to Cisco, for just under $2 billion. And that was where we kind of decided. That's when a little bit after that, I decided, okay, it's about time for me to start my own journey, and that's kind of how I led into the company that I'm currently doing now.
Okay, so when you did that, I mean, you cashed out, and did you get a piece of the pie when they cashed out because you were one of the top people? Yeah,
I got a piece of the pie, but I mean, we were making so much money. It was like I wasn't even thinking about that. Like I started off thinking, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to learn and get paid to learn for a year. And I started off like, oh man, maybe I'll make a couple $100,000. And we were making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And even before I left, they offered me not them in particular, but a group that was connected to them offered me like a huge, potential 7-figure income to stick around in the workforce. But I was like, man, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I can't do that. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I made a lot of money. I spent a lot of money. It was a fun time.
Yeah. How old were you then?
I was probably in my late 20s, maybe like between 20. This was like basically between like 26, maybe 25 and 30.
Oh, okay, cool. So, and then how did you kind of go into getting into your own tech gig from there?
Yeah, so I already knew I was going to start my own company. Like I literally told them this the day I was in the interview process. I was like, hey, I know that you guys are looking at me to come help you guys grow this thing, but I just want to let you know that I'm going to start a company. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I'll help you in the meantime, right? Like that was like my mentality. So I had already knew I was going to start a company. And the crazy thing is so Meraki, what they did was, Wi-Fi, security appliances, things like that, like switches, like these IT infrastructure stuff. What they did was they allowed for you to not have command line interface. So instead of like coding how to set up your situation, you would basically have like a drag and drop, like almost like a Wix or something like that, a website.
Okay, yeah.
So, basically that was the product, and we were selling to small SMBs like coffee shops and stuff like that. So we were trying to compete with a company called Purple Wi-Fi with one of our products. And what we were doing was giving people splash pages. And then in that splash page, it would say, if you want free Wi-Fi, give us your information and then we'll give you free Wi-Fi. And the hope was that you would communicate back to them to get them back into the store. And it was this concept called building the bridge between the physical and the digital. And I fell in love with the concept. Now, our product wasn't that good, to be honest. The product is, free Wi-Fi. Who really cares about that? At the time, this is before free Wi-Fi was everywhere. But like at the time, it was like kind of good, but I was like, I don't see this being like great. But the concept, like if you understand the internet and how the internet has changed over the course of time, and we hear a lot of people talking about Web 3.0, but if you go back to Web 1.0, it was basically just hyperlinking text, right? Like I can write something here and you can see it in Africa, right? And like computer nerds really cared about that at a high level. And the everyday person was kind of like, how does that change my everyday life? It wasn't until Web 2.0. Now, Web 2.0, the key to this, they call it read and write, but really what the key of it was the ability to be able to engage in the physical world, or take what you do in the physical world and bring it to the digital world. Buy stuff, ship stuff, mail stuff, chat with people, so on and so forth. Like today, those things are table stakes, but that's really how the internet was born. And then you had Web 3.0, which everybody's calling like DeFi, blockchain, NFTs, all this other stuff. I actually disagree with a lot of smart people, and I actually don't think that that's Web 3.0. I actually think that that's Web 4.0. But let's just call it Web 3.0 for conversation's sake. I think that there's a Web 2.0 that we completely missed, and that's where our company really sits in the gap. Is Web 3.0, before you have people in the metaverse and like spending 20 hours a day in the metaverse, there's probably going to be a way where you can do the opposite of what Web 2.0 was. Web 2.0 was like, how do you take what you do in the physical world, bring it to the digital world? Web 3.0 or 2.5, in my opinion, is how do you take what you can do in the digital world and bring it to the physical world? Because there's a ton of things you can do digitally that you can't do physically. Like I can't walk in the mall, one click by and have something show up at my house the next day. And so that's what Revi wants to revolutionize, is the ability to give you like an Amazon Go or an Uber-like experience in any physical store you go to or physical place you go to in the world. And like that's really what we're trying to accomplish, is digitizing the physical space.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, the whole concept of bringing the digital world inside of your house and you can't leave and everything's digital. It's like some of these movies that you watch, like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
It's like that, to me, that's like the biggest nightmare ever. I got to interact with people. I got to feel their energy.
Yep.
I mean, how am I going to feel like a real person if I'm in a hologram world? So yeah, I love what you're doing, because you're doing the opposite. You're bringing that technology into the physical space, and I think that it really is awesome. And I've experienced what your technology is. When I go to like Las Vegas, I was staying at the Bellagio, and I walk into a restaurant and I could order my food like really quickly, and actually I could order my food from my room and then go pick it up. So it's already ready when I get there. So it saves time. And then once I get there, my food's ready to go, or I can do that in the lobby and then punch in my order. And then if I need to finalize anything, I can go talk to somebody and do that. But, I think it's really awesome. I mean, we've talked about doing some stuff together in that space. And I think, me and you are going to sync up and do something to revolutionize the world in some way. And I'm really excited for that. So let's talk about, when you started this company, and you didn't start it as Revi, right? You started it as another name, I think Zyral, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when I was talking to you about that, I know you're really excited, and I was watching your videos, and you're making like this reality show. It was kind of like an influencer, your own like little special where you were filming inside your office, and you had a team of maybe like 10 people, and you were doing some funny little skits and all that. So this was an exciting thing for you, right? I mean, like you got into this project thinking, was this the most exciting thing you ever did, or?
Yeah, by far. I mean, and it was exciting because it was my brainchild. It was the thing that I brought to the earth. And so the funny thing is, we started talking about the business in about 2017, early 2017.
Oh, okay.
I didn't go full time until late 2017. So in that September, October, November scenario. And then we launched the product in January of 2018. So we were excited. We were pumped up. We actually grew pretty fast, to be honest. Like we went from zero to like $30,000 a month in like maybe 10 months or so. But what ended up happening is, if you understand kind of the tech business and how that process works, everything is about scale. Like You know, venture people want to make investments in things that they know are going to be $1 billion, $2 billion, $10 billion companies. So right now, if you're not going in that direction, like, you know, venture don't even want to give you money. So we were excited, we were growing, but what I realized was like two things, major things. One is when we hired a sales team, I could not get the salespeople to sell at my same pace. So I was closing at like a 30, 35% clip, you know, just knocking them down. And we got sales reps and they were only closing at like a 2 or 5% clip. And I was like, man, that's a problem for scale. Like if I can sell it, great. But if I can't get another guy to come in here or a girl to come in here and sell this thing at my same clip, then this is not going to scale at the rate that we want it to. And then the secondary thing was that we had, you know, when we put our stuff in our solution in the stores, the store, the cashier, or the owner had to tell people to join the Zyro program at the time. And it's like that was just not working at the level. It took us that entire year to get to 4,000 users on the platform. So it took us a long time just to grow our user base. So those are the two things that really kind of I noticed, hey, this is not going to work for us. And so in November of 2019, November of 2018, excuse me, I decided like, hey, this is not going to work. I think we were 17 employees at the time. We went down to 4. Like we just said, this is not going to work.
Eugene, let me backtrack just a second. I wanted to bring this into the mix. So you guys, before you started the company, you raised like, you know, $750,000, right? So you had an investor in San Francisco, I'm assuming, that put in $750K. You launched this business. You had 10 or you said 17 people. You were trying to get customers and people in the platform, and you just it just wasn't getting the traction. You had to go all the way down to 4 employees at that point. I mean, what were you thinking at that point?
Worst is literally the worst time that I've ever had in business in my entire life was that
the biggest challenge, right?
Biggest challenge I'd buy.
Okay, so how many years in your entrepreneurial journey and you had your worst moment of your?
This was this was like 4 years ago. So this I'm like 14 years in, right? You know,
yeah. So at 4. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur for 14 years. You had ups, you had downs, you had ups, downs, all the way through, and now you're at your lowest low. And you're just like, okay, what do I do now? So what was your thought process? I mean, you were at like survival mode on steroids. You had a lot of money in there tied up, and you had to go down to 4 employees. I mean, tell me about it.
100%. Look, in the place that I was at personally, I had put $250,000 of my own money. So the 750 didn't just come from other right? And so I had my money in there. I had friends and family members' money in that 750. As a couple of outside investors. So, you know, all I kept thinking was I cannot lose. I do not want to have the conversation to my friends or my family members or my wife and say, hey, all of that work that we just put in over the last year and some change, it's all through in the toilet because I couldn't get this figure out this one thing. And, you know, my mentality was like, look, Eugene, you got no choice. Figure it out. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I went.
Okay. And what was that? Tell me about that process. Like, what did you do from there? Like, what was the big decision that moved you into success? What was that?
So what we had to do, so me and my leadership team, which was the only 4 people, and keep in mind, we're inside of an office that's like holds like 25 people. You know, it's 4 of us. That's super depressing. And we're having meetings and we're basically saying, hey, what are we going to do? And we're just talking about ideas like, hey, let's talk about some ideas. And an idea popped up that I actually wasn't for 100%. One of my leaders was for this idea. What Revi currently is, or the way Revi started, the initial idea, I wasn't 100% certain of. And so he came up with the idea, said, hey, why don't we do self-service kiosks and we'll leverage that as a way to build these user profiles. And so we said, all right, well, let's do some testing. So what I did was, when we went down from 17 to 4, I still had to make sales because we had to keep money coming in. So I was pitching the old product, even though I knew we weren't going to keep that product.
Yeah.
Then if they said no, I had like a pitch deck for the new idea. It was like a 2-minute pitch deck, 5-minute pitch deck. And so I was like, hey, I know you said no, but hold on real quick. Let me tell you about this new thing. And I would pitch them this new product that I hadn't even built yet. And I would say, hey, do you want to sign up for our waiting list? And I got people to sign up. And so we got a couple of people to sign up to be our test. And the 4 months from that time in November to February when we launched the new product, that 4 months, I think I can write a book on that journey of entrepreneurship in that 4 months. We worked harder than we've ever worked. We figured out everything we needed to figure out. We literally built the product, scaled down the team, sold against that product, raised money on a whole new product, sold a whole new idea to our existing clientele, and shifted the entire company in form. Like we did a full pivot, like a full 180 in 4 months. It was one of the hardest things that we ever did. But at the end of that 4 months, we were ready to go with this new product, and it really kind of changed the game for us.
And then you just started scaling from there and just like doubling down, tripling down, just putting all your resources in, seeing results happen. People are throwing money at you. You're getting customers left and right. Everything's clicking.
It was growing. We were growing at a rapid pace. Like we were growing at like 50% a month. Like, it was just, we were just exploding. But we still had problems. Like we would grow, like we had the opposite problem. We had like all of these customers, but our product wasn't good enough yet. So it was like things were breaking.
Yeah.
These things.
Yeah. So then you had to get in there in the development side and like clean all these things up, but that was allowing you to get better quick because they were pointing out all the flaws so you could go and develop it. And then pretty soon you started catching up to what the demand is because you had all the demand, but the quality's starting to get there.
Yep.
And now you started pushing it into like, okay, now we got an actual product and we got a customer base.
Yep.
So now we can go take that story and go sell them like hotcakes to the next one and the next one, right?
So that first 3 months, we went from zero to $100,000 in transactional volume, right? So we went from we went from zero net new users to 10,000 net new users. So we basically, and remember, it took us a whole year to get 4,000 in the last product. We got 10,000 in the first 3 months. That was what we knew. And then by month 10, we had did $1 million. By month 9, we did $1 million. By month 12, we did 2. So the first year we did 2 million in transactional volume. And then the next year, COVID happened.
Oh God.
So we're literally rocking and rolling. Everything is going up. We're all excited. COVID happens. We take an 80% dive. Like just tanked.
Yeah.
All of our businesses shut down. Nobody's taking transactions. Yeah. It was crazy. But the crazy thing, the better part, I learned a lesson in the last down, which was nobody would know that this was going to affect us. So my face, if people ask me, Eugene, how you feel about this? It's fine. We'll come out of this. I know exactly what we need to do. So everybody around me was confident, even though it was a crazy time. And it took us about 12 weeks before we saw the first uptick. And then about 20 weeks before we saw like us doing more than we were doing pre-COVID. And that second year, we went from 2 million to 5 million. So we still grew. It was a stressful grow, but we still grew in 2020. And in 2021, we smashed again. I think we did about 15 in 2021. And then now in 2022, we're on track to doing 50 this year.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. Now, I do want to talk about one thing that I was kind of, keying on when I was looking at your profile and everything you filled out on my onboarding. And you were talking about the customer experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about you. It's not about me and how much money I can make and all this stuff. I mean, you're creating a business so you could generate generational wealth for years to come and change your life and change the world in so many ways. What did you focus on with your customers to create the most dynamic experience possible? What was the shift between the Zyral product and the Revi product? And can we dive into that, like focusing on the experience of the customers, listening to the customers, and really finding that sweet spot that we can go to a customer and they want to pay or they want to use the platform and they want to use the product. And then that is going to obviously equate to success and revenues. But talk a little bit about the customer experience.
So all of our competitors, they don't really care about the consumer experience. Like when the way we look at it is everything is about the consumer experience. When you look at some of the best companies, the ones that changed the game, you take companies like Uber. What did they do? They enhanced the consumer experience, made it easier, made it more effective, more rewarding. What did Airbnb do? They did the same thing. What did Amazon do? They did the same thing. Everything was about the consumer experience. And so for us, what we said was, first thing we want to do is narrow in and make sure that when the consumer is using our platform, how do they feel? What type of impact do they have? And what do they, when they finish, how do they, what do we put a smile on their face? Like, those are the types of things that we care about. And so we created this acronym internally called SPARK: Simplified, Personalized, Rewarding, and Connected. And so everything about our system is about saying, how do we make this simpler for the consumer? Like, how do we make it quicker? How do we make it easier, less clicks? Like, how do we make it more personalized where instead of just saying, hey, do you want fries with that, right? Maybe you don't like fries. Maybe you're gluten, like you can't eat gluten, right? Yeah. But hey, do you want a salad? Or you came to our store 12 times, and then the 13th time, out of 12, you bought a diet Dr. Pepper, whatever. And on the 13th time, I'm saying, hey, instead of saying, do you want a drink with that? Do you want a diet pepper with it? That level of personalization. Oh, you're vegan? Let me show you only vegan options. Like, those are the types of things that we wanted to do. When it comes to rewarding, like, how do we make sure that you get rewarded? And then how do we make it connected? One of the things that sucks right now is like, hey, if I order from DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub or something like that, like, great, I ordered 100 times there. And then when I walk into the store, I get no rewards, I get no value. Like, it's not connected. They don't even know that I may be one of their best customers. So, these are the types of things that we wanted to give the consumer experience of. And we're just in the beginning phases. Some of the things that we're going to lay out is augmented reality, connecting, like if you watch the movie Free Guy, connecting glasses to what you see in the physical world. Like, being able to add, more taste profiles and simpler connections with your friends and family, being able to add holograms and like, there's so many pieces of the puzzle that we want to enhance the consumer experience on, but everything is about how do we make their life simpler, more rewarding, more personalized, more connected.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So, I mean, you're just listening to your customers and you're building I don't know if it's a algorithm or an AI machine that based on their responses, you're going to give them better options, better suggestions, better things that might be something that they're looking for. And I think that's great because then they feel more connected, and it opens up more opportunities. So,
let me tell a quick story about that, real quick.
Sure.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
My son, when he was, because a lot of people say nobody wants to hear marketing, but my son, when last year, it was Christmas time, and he was watching on his iPad, and his finger was like this on the bottom right-hand corner of the device. So if you know what you're waiting for, the skip button. So as soon as the skip button comes in, bang, he pops it, right?
Yeah, the X.
He's getting out of that quick fast. Now it was a car commercial, so I can understand. He's 8. What is he gonna do with the car? Doesn't matter to him. Now a couple weeks later, he's watching his iPad. A commercial comes on. He watches the entire thing from start to finish. You know what was it about?
What?
A Thor costume.
Yeah, something that he was interested in, not a car or something that would be interested to you. It knew who he was based on his interaction with the app that he was in, and it gave him something. And now he's like looking at it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Right person at the right time. That's the way the marketing works today is all about avatars. You are a person who is 18 to 20, who lives in this area, who spends money on this thing. And because of that, you look like the person. But we live in a different world where the internet, like I'm a person, I'm Black, if you haven't been able to tell. And a lot of people say black people like watermelon. Well, I don't like watermelon, right? You may say black people like fried chicken. Well, it's because our world has changed. And 100 years ago, we only did what the people in our community did because that's all we knew. But now that the world is so interconnected, trying to avatar me and say, oh, I'm a black person in this particular area who may want to buy this thing, or a white person in this particular area may buy, you don't know. So the best way to do this is saying, I know exactly what Jesse wants because I understand Jesse. That's where the marketing is going in the future. And that's what we're trying to create.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, me and you come from that marketing background. That's how we connected. And, I remember when you came to the event and you were excited, you were just so excited, man. And, the excitement's shining through. You're creating something that you're connecting with the people, you're creating a great product. So how do you take your customers' experience or whatever, and how do you get in touch with them or survey them to figure out, what's going to be the next step? Because I know you're not complacent. You've learned through 18 years that you got to just keep pushing it. So what are you guys currently working on as far as collecting data? And then how does that translate into what you're going to produce next?
Yeah, so everything is about innovation. So a lot of it is about just clear communication. Like, we have so many users on our platform. We can go and have conversations with them, deep conversations, and maybe we'll give them a gift card or some free stuff or pay them to sit down and talk to them about here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're thinking about. What would you like? How would you like it? How can we adjust this thing? And a lot of the pieces of the puzzle is more about, but it can't just be about you tell me what you want. And the reason why this doesn't work fully is I come from New York, the land of the yellow cabs. I remember opening up the Yellow Pages and looking for a cab company and calling them up. And then they don't show up. And I'm waiting 15 minutes. They said it's going to be here in 10. So I'll call them up and say, hey, where's the cab? And they're like, hold on one second. Dispatch car number 12, where are you? And I'm like, this was serious. And I had to remember, oh, wait, I forgot I need cash. Hey, Mr. Cab Driver, I know you're going to charge me for this, but can you drop me a block up from my place? Because I need to go to the ATM, grab some cash to pay you with it. This was the experience. Now, if you would have told me, hey, would I have come up with the Uber experience? As a consumer, no, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, this is just the way cabs operate. So I would have probably said, hey, if you asked me, what do you want? I would say, I want my dispatch person to come when he said he was going to come. That's what I want. I want to be able to pay with my credit card. But I wouldn't have said, hey, I wanted to do it all in an app where I can tell a person, don't talk to me, and tell them what temperature to do it. I wouldn't have thought of any of those things, but man, that makes my life a lot easier. So you have to listen to your consumers, yes, but you also have to say, how do I think ahead of them? How do I anticipate the need? And a lot of business owners don't do that. And that's how you innovate. That is the definition of innovation, is anticipating the needs of the future and then participating in the process to create what you need to create so that you can make that innovation need a reality. And that's what we try to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, when you're talking about New York, I've only been there once. I went to a conference, and I remember when I get to the lobby and they're like, this is the best way for you to order food is to download this app on your phone. And it would take 2 hours for the food to come. And I remember the first time I ordered, the food came. The second time I ordered, the food didn't come, and they still charged me $50. I never got my money back, so I had to order again from another place. And then I remember trying to get a ride to this comedy show that wasn't far away. It took an hour for the Uber to come and take us 4 blocks. I'm like, dude, I could have walked this far. It wasn't even that far. But it was pretty crazy in New York because, I'm from San Diego, where you can just get it quick and it's just really fast and easy and there's no stress. But, New York is a city stacked on top of a city on top of a city. So you need to be on point, and, it really is crazy. But, I could see where, you guys are keeping up with the times, and you're really creating a product that's amazing. And that's why you're in the middle of about to raise $60 million plus and then push it to $1 billion company. So I'm excited to see where you take this thing. So what are the big things you guys are working on right now to get to the next level?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is the augmented reality experience. This is something that we're looking into, and we've got our first beta out that we plan on, hopefully releasing. I want to connect that to glasses experience, and how do we, bring in like, not the ugly Google Glass, but like just normal, regular glasses, and bringing that into the experience. So those are some of the things we're working on. We're working on being able to integrate communications across platforms, so I can walk into a restaurant and get the same experience from a restaurant to a retail store to a movie theater to the museum. Like, how do we integrate that entire experience? How do we, give higher levels of rewards? Our rewards right now are crazy, or as it is, I want to go even further. Like right now we're doing like Louis Vuitton suitcases and like trips to Maui. But I think we can even go further. I think there's opportunities for us to go further. So there's the list can go on and on some of the things. There's some things that I can't talk about, but there's some things that I can, and I'm excited to. But the list goes on and on some of the things that we can actually, that we're actually going to bring to the market over the next, 6 to 12 months. So I'm excited. If you're watching Revi, you see what the app is today. I guarantee you what you see in 12 months is like a 10x version of what that is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do, Eugene, I'm going to bring up your website. I just want to, give people a visual to what this does, and anybody out there that is connected to anybody in the restaurant space. I know me and Eugene are talking about this project that I'm working on that I think I can really tie him into a lot of restaurants. Reach out, and I'm going to give you his information so you can contact him through Instagram, through YouTube, check out his website, fill out the contact form, get in touch with him. So let me go ahead and share screen right here, and we're going to go, and I just want you to kind of walk through the website, explain the product a little bit, the experience, and just talk about it from an influence standpoint, but also, what the value to the customer is. So, okay. So we're here on the site, I like it.
So what you see here, and the whole focus of the site is speaking from the consumer perspective. So as you see it kind of flipping from each consumer, what it's doing is it's basically saying like, hey, how do we engage with this consumer in a way that's different, that can inspire them to actually want to actually make the purchase. So as you scroll down, you'll see that this experience works into the rest of the experience. So you've got the person saying, hey, I'm trying to discover a certain type of food. And as you continue to scroll down, you'll start to get access to, okay, cool, they discovered the food. Now when they're discovering the food, like, hey, do I want to make this purchase in person? Do I want to make it online? How do I simplify that online process? How do we create accounts that make it easy for you to go through this process? And then it kind of extends into like, now not only do I get to eat food, but I get to customize the food that I eat and make it connected to who I am and what I'm actually looking to purchase. And as it flows into it, now I go into the actual connection portion of it. It's like, hey, I get a chance to get connected to my friends and family and people who like the same type of food. And it goes into the purchasing process and give an opportunity to purchase. And then as you continue to scroll up, obviously you'll have an opportunity to get rewarded through that process of purchasing and finding ways to give special offers and connected offers as the process goes in. And then obviously the goal is to continue the conversation among the network so that people, the idea is about saying like, hey, like Amazon, they have a shared network. And in that network, you have the ability to get value from all of the businesses in that network. We want to do something very similar, but not just from the businesses, but from the consumers that you get access to. And obviously we've got our app that you can download and engage with us there. So it's
it's demo. That's great. I mean, so guys, this is a very advanced way, and it's a great website. And this reminds me, we've been working on our site and stuff, releasing a new version of it, I should say, and really showing people what our platform does, with Influencer Soft. And I'm learning a lot from this because it's real simple, but it's really easy to follow. And it gives you a full perspective of what value you bring to the customers. So yeah, this is really cool. I'm excited to see what you do with this. I know it's just the beginning. I mean, how long have you been building Revi? 3 years, you said?
Three years. So we started
only 3 years, from 0 to 50 million in 3 years.
So yeah, 3.5 years now. A little bit closer to 3.5.
I mean, that's an incredible upswing, you know, and you being the CEO of the company, I mean, you're getting real close to the $100 million mark. You get there, I mean, like I
think we'll be there next year. We'll see. I think we're gonna have we just keep in mind that all of the growth that we've had over the last 3 years, a lot of that has been off the back of like a small team. You know, we didn't scale up the team. Like right now, we're in team scaling mode. So we had only a couple of salespeople, and even those salespeople were doing multiple things. Right? Right now we're building an internal sales team. We're building the marketing funnels. Like we've done all of this off of word of mouth and like direct sales. So it's pretty cool to see that like we've gone really far without even going through the process of scale. So right now we're about to step into it. So I'm excited. I think that what the next 12 months looks like, it may be a 10x fold of where we are today.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying this right now. And Eugene has accomplished an 18-year career as an entrepreneur. And about 4 years ago, he was almost in the worst situation of his life after a 14-year process. But today, you're looking at a billionaire, future billionaire here. This is Eugene Johnson, guys. He's built something that, the trajectory, I mean, we'll see what happens in the next year. But, these types of software companies, a 10x multiplier as a CEO, I know he's got investors, so he's not going to get a full payout on that, to sell the company. But I think he can get $1 billion valuation. I think he could get, even higher potentially if things go right in the next couple of years, where this man right here will be able to do whatever he wants for the rest of his life. And that's the dream of an entrepreneur. So if you're out here watching, make sure you share this out, share this message out with other people so they understand, there is a possibility to start your own thing, start your own business. And, no matter what circumstances, you grow up in the mean streets of New York, you're in the ghetto, you're going through tough times, there is a way to generate success and go to the next level. And Eugene has proven that 10 times over. For anybody that doubts anybody in the world, like this is huge right here, this story. So everybody share this out, drop a like, hit the hearts, drop a comment, show this man some love. And Eugene, you're just warming up, man, because the things we talked about that we're going to do together, I mean, our software is completely different. I mean, but we do marketing and we work with different entrepreneurs. I mean, you're more physical businesses and local businesses. I'm more, digital stuff, but there's going to be some overlap here. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you have success, that you get in front of more people, that you can keep pushing the brand forward. And I think a lot of the listeners and people in my network are going to support you 110%. So anything you need from us, just let us know. I'm excited to see where you head. This is a really crazy story, and I think the whole world needs to hear it, no matter who you are. You're just getting warmed up. They're going to make movies about you. They're going to, this is all your life, and you've done it at the highest level. So yeah. What's next for your brand? I know you're doing a lot of speaking. What are you pushing for on the influence and the branding side?
Yeah, everything on the branding side has really been the mentality of almost like the Gary Vee mentality of saying like, all right, the goal is to allow for the story of Revi, the story of myself to be wider known, and having customers come to us, because of who Gary is. Companies like Ford and others, Pepsi, these guys knock on Gary's door because they're like, man, we watched his stuff. We know how his philosophy, we need to, integrate some of that stuff into our business. And I think that's, for me, what I look for constantly is like, all right, how do I get opportunities, to have, bigger companies come to us and say, hey, look, we love what you're doing. Let's add this into the piece of the puzzle that will make our business, technology enabled, things of that nature. So I think that's my big goal. Like I don't have a big vision of creating millions of books or courses, anything like that.
You gonna own the Jets?
So, you know, the funny thing is, I don't know if I'm bringing this up because Gary made this so famous, but I've been saying I'm going to own the Knicks for over a decade before Gary got on social media.
You know, I'm a basketball player, so
yeah, I'm a basketball.
I'll be right there with you. So
floor seats for Jesse. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, that's pretty awesome, and I want to see you as the owner of the Knicks, and definitely support that 100%. They also need some championships. So
that's the reason why I want to come over. Actually, I want them to win, but I want them to not win because like the Knicks are already expensive enough as it is. You know? And if you guys, it's gonna be even more expensive for me to buy. So don't win until I buy you, and then we can win some more. You know, so that's like 22.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know you got big dreams and goals. You've accomplished so much. I know it's just the beginning. Just to follow Eugene, I'm going to go ahead and pop up a couple of things for you guys to follow him. So obviously go to getrevi.com. That's where we went. You can follow that, check out his site as he grows and evolves. You can stay tuned with his success. So depending on when you're watching this, you can definitely go and see the evolution. Maybe you're watching this now, you see what we just showed, and you went to the website and like, hey, you know, maybe he's a billionaire and has a $10 billion company at this point. You know, you never know. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you're watching now, and drop a comment and say, yeah, you know, I'm watching this. You guys did this years ago, and you know, yes, it looks completely different. So I love the plan. I love the excitement. And it's just the beginning. Now to follow Eugene and his journey, go to Instagram at Eugene K. Johnson. So this is on Instagram. I should have highlighted that. Hold on one second. Make sure you guys know. All right. So Instagram at Eugene K. Johnson. Make sure you go and check that out. He's putting out a lot of content there. Are you part of a church or like what?
So I put out content about. So my theme is that I help serve leaders in both business and ministry. Helping them scale their organizations, develop leaders, and execute at the highest level. And so, you know, I speak on behalf of of churches out there who want to be better at, because the church has done a bad job branding itself. And so, you know, when you hear church, you instantly think hypocrite or these other things. And so my goal is to try to create an opportunity to help these guys get better at leadership and organizations. And then from a business perspective, like there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to get out the ground, you know, midway. And they're like, all right, we're already moving, but how do I take it to the next level? You know, how do I develop strong leaders, so on and so forth. So those are the types of things that I want to be able to help develop, leaders on both sides of the spectrum. So, a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, so he's got a lot of stuff. He's got him with Gary V there. He's got stuff with him, you know, in the church doing his thing. So you can follow and support this man. He's doing great things. So Instagram, Eugene K. Johnson. Make sure you give him a follow and you check out his work and stay in touch. So that's one way to get in touch with him. Another way is YouTube. All right. He's got a YouTube channel. Do you post on these channels often, or how does that work?
I'm like heavy back on YouTube. So I got a whole slew of shows coming out on YouTube in the next couple of weeks. So I am posting like YouTube shorts and stories and stuff like that. But for like some of the shows, I'm going to do a show called Influence, where I'm going to get some of the most successful people in business and bring them in, get them a part of the show and walk you through, what it means and what it looks like to be a great entrepreneur. So you're going to start seeing a lot of content like that. There's some old content. I have an old content series on YouTube that I think everybody should watch. It's called The 10 Mental Thought Processes of Leadership. It's old, like 2, 3, 4 years old, but I guarantee you, if you're trying to shift your business from a leadership perspective, it will change the game for you. I literally walk through. It's like 6 hours worth of content, for free. I literally walk through every single piece of the puzzle of what it means to create and develop leadership teams. And so definitely jump on there and I try to cut it up and make it a little easier for you guys to digest. But I think it's impactful.
Okay. So this is coming from a guy that's got a business doing 50 million a year, software company. It's a 10x multiplier on that. So he's built something huge. So he's going to be putting out a lot of content. I know Eugene because he came from wanting to do content. That's why, we synced up. He came to my live events for Facebook marketing. So, and he created that reality show and he started the Zyral brand. So I know he's going to be putting out a lot of stuff. So you can go here and get leadership training, the 10 mental thought processes of leadership. And everybody needs to learn leadership, influence, leadership, building an organization, getting people to follow you, getting people's attention. Everything's about influence in the world. And this is really going to help you understand and discover and unlock so many new things about yourself to be able to put yourself in position for success. So make sure you go over here, check this out, YouTube, Eugene Johnson, follow him. Make sure, you get all the value you can from him and stay tuned because the value that he's giving and then he's putting out there in the world, it's just the beginning. Now he's getting in a position of success where he can really take time to, do the social media side of things. And I'm seeing him, grow there where he might not have been so wrapped up in that when he was trying to get Revi off the ground.
The reality is that's what happened. I went to your thing. I started growing on Facebook and I actually did it. We grew a lot. Like we went from 0 to 150,000 followers in a short amount of time. But then,
but then Facebook changed and then that wasn't really the thing.
At that point. I could have had 0 followers and got the same reach. But the long story short is the point is that I was wrapped up heavily into growing and then the business kind of took over. I just wanted to share one quick thing, 2 seconds is look, if you're an entrepreneur, things shift and be okay with that. It's okay for things to pivot, for you to move, direction, and then for you to be able to shift back to where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, as business owners, we need to understand, as long as you don't quit, a lot of people think a pivot is a quit, but as long as you don't quit on your vision and your dreams, then you can always take a different vehicle to get there. And so, it's just a, tidbit.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my journey where, I started off and had no success, then all of a sudden had successful local businesses, started crushing it, then found out Facebook was my jam, and then got Brendan Burchard on board and then rode that wave and then crashed and then, pivoted and went to another direction, then launched, had early success, then, hit some stumbling blocks and now we're rebuilding. And now, we're pivoting into kind of network marketing / coaching and really finding our sweet spot where I think we can go to the next level. And we were talking about, potentially doing some things together in network marketing with one of these clients that I have. I think we could, do something huge. So, I'm finding my way and I know you are. And, it's been ups and downs and a lot of stress and pressure and fun and excitement and thing in between. But where there's no risk, there's no reward, right? Yeah. So you got to stay the course. It's like Sharon Lecter's 3 feet from gold. I mean, you never know when you're right there on the tipping point where you can push that and go to the next level. And Eugene's proven that. I mean, you probably could have quit 10 times over 100%. And you probably felt like you wanted to, but you knew you weren't, and a pivot's not a quit. You just keep pushing. You got your vision. You're going to get there no matter what. It doesn't matter as long as you're not dead, you're going to keep moving forward. So, yeah, so it really is powerful, man. I mean, this is a really great session that I think every entrepreneur needs to watch this video over and over again so you understand what it's going to take, because you are going to hit roadblocks, but you can't be oh, well, now I need to go back to corporate America and work for the man, but you're never going to get in this position. And look, 14 years in the journey for Eugene, was ready to probably throw in the towel 10 times over, probably wanted to run under a walk, probably PTSD, he just kept pushing. And now he's ready to change the world and, not only his family and friends and everybody around him, but, create a legacy and generations to come. So this is a huge testament to no matter where you're at in your journey, to just keep pushing through, stay positive, get around great people, network, You're probably one connection away, one deal away, one opportunity away, one idea away from getting to the pinnacle of your industry. Because, you know I haven't achieved even close to that. And in my mind, I know where it's going to be eventually. So you got to stay true to that. And, you know, I love this guy, Eugene. He's done nothing but giving me positive vibes throughout our relationship, and just excited for you, man. And willing to do whatever it takes to help you out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. It's exciting to see what you're doing. And so, look, I just love entrepreneurship, man. I love people who are willing to jump off a cliff and build a plane on the way down, because that's what it feels like. But it's exciting to watch.
You better be a fast builder, but luckily,
you know. Before you hit that.
Yeah, but it's exciting. So anyway, we'll wrap up. I know you're busy. You got to get back to the team and keep building what you're building. I appreciate you coming on. You're more than welcome to come on whenever you want. I would love to have you back. We can give them an update in about a year or so, just kind of see where you're at, go from 50 million to the next level. Excited for you, man, and just keep checking in and telling people what you learned along the way.
Yes,
and
sir.
You know, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, any last words for the people before we sign off for the day?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is the slogan I live by, which is let no man steal your vision, because no man gave it to you. And so, if you got a vision for where you want to be and what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, one of the fastest ways to lose is not, it's not failure. A lot of people are saying, man, it's failure. Like, I don't want to fail. But the reality is you should be doubling down on your failure. What you should be fighting is your fear. And most people are so afraid to take the step to do what they need to do. They care about other people's opinion. They're afraid about what about the money? What about the kids? What about the wife? What about the husband? In reality, what you need to do is just step out of fear and step into faith, because if is incomplete faith, and you got to have faith to be able to move the mountain. So you can't say if, you got to say when. And if you say when instead of if, you'll be able to win, WIN. Instead of failing, you'll move on faith. And so that's my suggestion for everybody out there.
Yeah, that's strong. I mean, you guys, there's nobody that's given you the vision that you have. You got to create it yourself. You're the creator of your own success and your own path. And you don't need to know how you're going to do it. You just need to know you're going to do it and get around the right people that'll help push you to the next phase and make you better. So thank you, Eugene, for coming on. Everybody out there, make sure you follow him. You follow the Get Revi dream / success story throughout. And also make sure you get Influencer Soft, because you're going to need to be able to build all of your marketing and get in our program so we can help you go to the next level. We can help you monetize and then get inspired through the success of my friends, and they'll help you out along the way. So you're one of my best friends, Eugene. Thanks for coming on, bro. And I really appreciate, what you've done and sharing everything in such detail with everybody.
Man, I appreciate you having me. And thank you guys for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode, guys. Take care.